everybody. I'm Day. It's great to be here. I'm really excited to talk to you. This is about embracing your inner troublemaker and how being a troublemaker can sometimes be really, really useful. So the first thing I would like to do is just ask a question to the group. Has anyone in this room been called a troublemaker before in your life? Awesome. The troublemakers are like, yeah, me. Awesome. And please keep your hand up in the air if you found that useful in your job, in your role, causing a little bit of trouble in a good way. Awesome. I can see that my people are here. I can see that I'm going to be talking to a few people and hopefully sharing a little bit of my own experience as well. And just as I didn't expect this to happen, but I caused a little bit of trouble today at this conference. If you see anyone here with a pronoun sticker on their name badge, that was me. A little bit of trouble just for a good cause, and that's something that we're going to be coming around to. So I'd like to introduce Mary. The lady in the hat is my nan. She would have been the one who called me a troublemaker. It would have been her 94th birthday today. So thank you, Nan. And the feeling of being called, thank you, the feeling of being called a troublemaker by someone who thinks of you incredibly fondly, that's the idea that we're trying to capture today. So the journey so far, this is me, hello, I'm Day. When I first started my working life, I worked in a beach cafe, and I would not be caught dead saying boo to a goose. That just would never have happened. I could never have seen myself up on this stage today. But what I could do was act in defense of others quite adequately, quite well. And so as I've grown into a working adult, I've found that I am very much naturally a people pleaser. And unfortunately, that leads to a very low level of integrity in some ways. So what we want to do is try and capture that idea of being an advocate, fighting for others, and keeping some integrity there as well. So I'm going to share a little story about the day that I messed up. So the situation was, I was sitting in a meeting. I wasn't a Scrum Master at the time. And the meeting was around the fact that we'd delivered a piece of work and it had kind of missed what the original problem was. And sat in that meeting, someone quite offhandedly said, the reason why this work didn't meet the expectations was because the ticket was written badly, and then moved on to what they were going to say next. Now, I was lucky enough to be shadowing the Scrum Master, and so what I did was I sent them this emoji, and as a placeholder for later conversation. But what I didn't realize at the time was that that person was screen sharing, and and my little placeholder for myself and our future conversation ended up with quite an embarrassing moment. But the point is, yes, I was a troublemaker in that moment, but what I learned was that I was raising really useful points. It was an appropriate question in my head. Why have we jumped to this conclusion? What else could have been the cause of us not delivering this work as it should have been? But what I learned was that's not the way to do it. So just to go back to the point that I was raising earlier about trouble versus integrity, how do we make this something that functions well for us, but we keep the integrity in ourselves and what we're doing? And I asked my colleagues for a few examples of how they cause trouble at work as well. So playing devil's advocate, but the integrity side of it is always having a good reason to do so. Asking all the questions, but respectfully, safely, and listening to the answers, and importantly, following up as well. Leading people to see your point of view, but being ready to change your mind when you're wrong. It's so important to be able to react to the new information that's coming to you. Being ready to laugh at yourself, but at the same time, being careful not to always be the butt of a joke. Being playful, I see you. But meet people where they are as well. If something terrible has happened, they may not be in a position where they can play. But I'm not going to talk too much about play. There's experts in the room. Be best friends with the elephant in the room. As a Scrum Master, sometimes you might be the only person who's seeing the elephant in the room, but also pointing it out gently and only when you've created a safe space to do so. Encouraging a bit of chaos. By that I mean things like constructive dissent and difficult conversations, but holding the space and calling time when it's time. So what are we getting at here? I spent a little bit of time with our friend ChatGPT to try and find the perfect question and the perfect description for what I'm trying to get to. And so I said, dear ChatGPT, what is a professional rascal? A professional rascal, you can all see on the screen, is someone who brings a playful, mischievous, or unconventional attitude into a professional setting, but in a way that's clever, creative, and often charming, rather than disruptive or inappropriate. They might bend the rules, challenge norms, or push boundaries, but they do so with the intent of sparking innovation, making work more fun, or getting results in unexpected ways. If that's not a definition of a Scrum Master, I'm not sure what could be better. So just to bring this back to knowledge and information from people who know far more than I do, we're looking at the 7 base meta skills here from the ORSC coaching model. And we'll see there, we've got commitment, heart, deep democracy, playfulness, respect, collaboration, and inquiry and awareness. Number 2 is heart. Number 4 is playfulness. These things are embedded in the models that we see and use and aspire to. So to talk a little bit more about what this looks like in practice for me, and as someone, everyone here has amazing kind of backgrounds and things, all I have to offer is that I'm a Scrum Master and I love it. So inducing fondness as a troublemaker. Be the first to sit on the floor and invite others to join you. This is something I feel so strongly about. I'm not talking about actually sitting on the floor. It has all sorts of accessibility issues. What we're talking about is creating a level playing field for everyone to join and feel comfortable in. Be the quiet calm in the room. It's easier to hear everybody when we're starting from a point of calm and quiet. Be prepared to wait for an answer. This was shared with me by a mentor early in my Scrum journey, where once you ask a question, wait for the answer. And by doing so, sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes you're giving people the acknowledgement that you're going to wait for their answer and that their answer is important to you. Be grounding. It's easier to build when the ground is flat. Lead the way by embodying curiosity and being vulnerable. Learn from others and then fight for your own point of view, but with neutrality at the heart. Challenge, surprise, and disrupt, but always for a good reason, to coming back to that integrity, and turn up as you. It's so important to be authentic, and it's much easier to be yourself in that situation. As I think it's Judge Judy says, you don't need to have a good memory if you're telling the truth. The golden rule is don't be a dick. We need the first one to swear on the stage. Create a safe space, read the room and be respectful, and know when it's time to let go of what's in front of you as well. Thank you all so much for listening. I would love to share ideas with anyone about a time when you've been a professional rascal, and I'd love to share with you this further reading list as well. There's some amazing materials in there. So thank you all very much.